This year is entitled Sleeping in a Sukkah. Plus one sleep in a sukkah, and specifically a Chatan, the Shana Rishana, the first year of marriage, should he be sleeping in a Sukah? So the fact is, the idea of sleeping in the sukkah is even more machmir, more stringent than eating in the sukkah. Eating a sukkah, unless you have a meal, you can eat outside the sukkah. You have a snack, you have fruits, drinks, you can have outside the sukkah. It's nice. You want to have everything in the sukkah, but you can eat outside the sukkah. Sleeping, you're not supposed to sleep outside the sukkah, even a nap. So it's an absolute chiyuv to sleep in the sukkah. The question, of course, is why people are makil. So the Ramah mentions already in the Shulchan, maybe because of the cold. Some want to say that person who's married lives in the sukkah the way he lives in the house he lives with his wife. So if he could live with his wife in the sukkah, fine. But if there's no place to be in the sukkah with his wife, then he'd be part of Teisha can't do. It's not a normal way to live, to be by himself. The Gemara rejects this, brings another possibility that maybe a man would be mitzvah not to be in the sukkah, not to be inside the room with his wife, and maybe that would be because it's sour for him not to be with his wife. It brings a few possibilities down. What about a Chatan? What about a Chatan? So the Shulchan Harav in Divrai mentions the idea that a married man has a mitzvah to be mesamech his wife during the regel, and therefore it's the reason why he's allowed to be with her. Others say that how far are you going to go with this? Forever, a person will ever always be part as a married person from the Sukkah. And so Halichot Shlomo Sukkot says there is no heter. There's no heter for Chatan in the year, the first year of marriage, and he does not hold by this idea that there's some special heter for the Chatan, the year of marriage. If he says, if anything, you see in the Shulchan Aruch that for the first week of marriage is a special heter for the Chatan. So you see, it's only for the week that he could be with his wife outside the Sukkah, but not the rest of the year. However, the Divrai Yatziv, the Koseberger Rebbe, says that no. The fact is, the idea of being mesamech, your wife, the Shana Rishona, is a very important mitzvah, and therefore that would actually override the mitzvah sukkah. He has the mitzvah to mesamech his wife, to be with her at home with her. So if they have a sukkah, very nice, a private sukkah, that's great. But if not, he has a mitzvah to mesamech her and be with her, and therefore allowed to be with her in the house. Scheinberg has a little bit of a twist on that. He says, Shana Rishona, the woman, the wife, wants to be with the husband so much, she may feel alone, and if she have tsar, that she's alone and not with him, and then in that case, he'd be allowed to be with her. So the civil pshat is the man should be in the sukkah. The poskim grappled with why it's not always the case. In Choslarts, it's very often not done here. Baruch Hashem is done very often. And if a person is not going to sleep in the sukkah for whatever reason, whether it's the case of a chatan or other reason, definitely should talk it over with his posek. Shalom.